But okay, Agnes. At least Scorch is undodgeable. So actually, maybe the need to grab them with Constrict, not quite as critical as I may have originally kind of laid it out to be, but still does a little bit of help along the way there, and that is fantastic. I think it'd be fun to play tabletop, but expensive, and you need to definitely have a pretty firm grasp of the rules. I feel like the one time that I kind of got into that with the cousin I mentioned earlier, I believe we might have played it once. I might be conflicting stories, and I played it with another friend because I remember playing it in my hometown at the time and not where my cousin lives. So that's throwing a bunch of uncertainty into all my statements here. But regardless, I tried playing it once, and it is a large assortment of rulers for sure. It's very satisfying. I love putting together the different rules to be like, this is the range of the spell and this is the area of effect. It's very methodical and satisfying in its own right, but definitely a bit of work to get going. You can't paint yourself out of a paper bag. I don't know how I'd do. I generally have an appreciation for a lot of kind of activities and hobbies that require fine dexterity. I do enjoy that type of thing a lot, regardless of my ability or lack thereof. So I'd like to imagine that I'd be great at it, but it's pretty easy for me to, from my position of an armchair figurine painter, believe the best of myself here. Where I will fairly likely get into that a little bit in the near future, even if I don't find myself hopelessly addicted to Warhammer anytime soon, is on the D&D side of things. In my current group that I'm playing with, we all bought figurines for their characters, and most of the group has painted them, and they all did such a great job. It's so fun to see, and I'm very jealous. Oh, why did I just hit enter? Only 4% chance to paralyze you. Probably not our best bet. And how to handle things here. But, on the other hand, pretty solid damage. I'm not going to blow your mind if I had to guess. Yeah, 16%, not going to do it. So let's just throw a warping out there. Has some pretty solid damage on the backside as well, so that is fantastic. Okie dokie. Well, we've managed to not only survive here, but slowly accumulate a bit more in the way of our piety here. So we have a few more divine exegesis to throw into the mix to save our skin at the last possible moment, which is always fantastic. And maybe now we'll take a bit of our foot off the gas pedal, go into some of the fundamental skills. Fighting, of course, just giving us more health, more survivability, and then spell casting, because I don't think there's any specific school that we necessarily need to push with gusto towards. Okay, let's check out this animated armor and see how things go, shall we? Oof. Never mind. And we're enraged, and we have a lot of new friends. So let's slowly but surely make our way down. We should be able to tunnel over to the stairs. Fantastic. And not too shabby. Okay, there's an optimal way to be reminded of my own stupidity. You know, we've been talking about it, we've been very vocal about the fact that the hubris is rising, but sometimes you need it to manifest in a bit more of a physical, tangible way to fully appreciate just how dumb you're being. So, fantastic. Let's take this lesson to heart. Maybe be a little bit more cognizant of when, where, and how we're using our enraging polearm here, or I guess stave more than anything with the latch tang. In fact, there we go. That's a much, much safer capacity for using this son of a gun. Fantastic. Well, definitely can't complain. I think the snake is going much, much better than even I initially was expecting here. Specifically, I have some vague recollections of our last play session on this character, coming into snake and then running with our tail between our legs because it did not go our way in any fashion whatsoever. And so very satisfying to come back into the mix feeling a little bit more secure in our continued survivability at the very least. Holy moly, another unique? Were they all on this floor? Maybe some were up on snake too, now that I think about it, but regardless, still just absurd. What do we wish to do with you, my friend? I think I'd like you to just have to walk to me. And otherwise, do I beat Vajnia in a straight up duel here? You have a lot of health, my friend. The battle axe, the constriction is going to hurt. No matter how we slice and dice it. Let's actually pop here, because I'd like to bring our armor into the mix as well. And then, is there anything else to kind of throw at the problem? I guess keep Vile clutching. Ooh, at any given opportunity, I don't like friends coming in from the other side. So, double check, our chance to paralyze is only 13%. Well, let's duplicate Vajnia. And then just sick 'em boys. Okay, there's the rage coming in at what is likely an inopportune moment. And yet, keep pushing it. I think I can kill this sharpshooter. That one, our rage is going to run out before we close the gap, unfortunately. And so with that in mind, let's ring around the rosy just a smidge here, and that is beautiful. Okie dokie, if we can just get through snake, we can put this Lagitang back in our backpack and never touch the stuff ever again. So, let's try our best to just survive until that moment, shall we? Go gadget, plate armor. Hell yeah, brother. Okay, not too shabby, all things considered. Another unique down. Vajnia, I mean, they themselves usually not too much of an issue, depending on your character's ability to deal with a ranged son of a gun, but definitely something to be said for the pack that they carry around with them. That number of sharpshooters pretty much just riddles us with holes. Okie dokie. Is Dwarf new? You haven't played in a while? It is, in a sense. It's the return, the grand return of Mountain Dwarf. They were removed a while ago now. I think it was in version like 0.25, 0.26, somewhere around there. The Mountain Dwarf was removed. They were thought to be a bit too similar to like Hill Orcs and Minotaurs. All three had kind of samey aptitudes and were very much sword and board. So they were removed for a while at least. And then very recently, in this latest version, returned to the game once more with some new changes in place. So essentially, they have the penalty from heavy armor in regards to specifically spell casting. So you're much more easily able to sling your spells even in a heavier set of armor. And then the other kind of gimmick of them is that they can enchant even artifacts. So, you know, we've all been in the position where you're wandering around and you find just a beautiful weapon. It's the greatest stat stick you've ever seen, but unfortunately it's a +0 artifact, and so it doesn't really have a valid place in the late game. But no longer. With one easy trick, artificers hate them. This is actually something I should probably be engaging with a bit more. The snakes are slow. So we can kind of just lay down endless landmines as they continue to pursue us and approach. It's not too shabby here. Okay, let's just reach out and grab you, my friend. Rage coming in right at the end here. Nothing we can't handle, and that is beautiful. Oh, you'll excuse me for a short moment. Also here, my partner has fed the dog because you can hear that she's rolling her food ball, just smashing it into the door. Okie dokie. Just want to bring up Stream Manager on the other monitor here so that if anything crashes and burns, I have a little bit of an indication of such, but not too shabby whatsoever. Fantastic. Okay, I should stop. Already found myself swinging weapons, and especially when we have a line of enemies coming at us like this, it's not the time, friend. That is not when you want to be throwing an unintended rage out there. But on the other hand, if we just keep reaching out and grabbing you kiddos, then that helps out quite a bit with our fancy armor here as well. Oh geez, hello Midwaddle. Not especially stoked to see you here, my friend. In fact, how are we feeling against something like McLaudel? Do we have a shadow to compare? Oof, we don't. I mean, we fought some pretty scary uniques. You know, Saint Roca, Nicola, they all kind of fall into a similar category to McLaudel in terms of difficulty to deal with. So maybe that's not the end of the world. Yeah, you only have 140 health. Cause fear could be a pain in the rear, as well as if you corrupt, throw too many friendly faces our way, or I guess to be more realistic, less than friendly faces being sent our way. Like Exhibit A here. This might be somewhere where we want to come back when we have like Irradiate and can quickly delete the demons as they surround us. So I'm not feeling especially confident. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read a teleport, and then we're going to treat this as a bit of a test drive. Yes, that's fine. I'm pretty sure my armor doesn't get too upset by fire damage, so that is fine. And okay, we were kind of starting to clear out all the demons. We weren't taking too much damage, so maybe that is a bit of an indication that we may in fact be ready to deal with our friend here. Throw some more vile clutches out, of course. In fact, if I can reach out and grab you. Come on. Oof, my animated armor not quite performing up to the level that I wish that it were, but not the end of the world. Let's throw some lightning at you. Doesn't do great. Of course, the Raiju isn't going to care really whatsoever about us throwing lightning here, there, and everywhere. I mean, if we want to just put our cards down on the table, start punching each other, I maybe beat you, McLaudel, in a straight-up fight. I guess you don't have poison damage, so this might actually be a pretty solid time to switch over to our Bardiche. But there you are. And then unfortunately, get a bit more surrounded than I would like. You know what, let's channel magic. Who is getting rid of all of our magic here? I don't believe we have Spirit Guardian in effect. Guess it could be you? You don't have anti-magic, do you, my friend? Very strange. Well, this is the issue with McLaudel. It's not fighting them on their own, it's the dangers when you start to get a little bit surrounded. And I do have some concerns in that department. And so with that in mind, we read the teleport scroll. And it should take effect relatively soon. In fact, maybe this is a good time to just throw some lightning out at you. Or not lightning, but light itself. Gosh, where did we leave you? Unfortunately, Maglotl got so close to death there that it's make me want to jump back in for another try. Oof. Turns out it was indeed about as dumb as I originally suspected, but we'll use a blink, dodge away from you, my friend, and then if I can get a blind off on you, fantastic. What else can I throw at you? Of course, nothing that checks willpower. Really is too much of a chance of being successful, so no paralysis in the here and now. I mean, I could always Divine Exegesis. But I think instead I'll constrict you, try to keep you at a little bit of a distance here. Oh my gosh, Maglotl, you're so close to dead. Did that do it? I think that was a kill. Oh my gosh, it was. Fantastic. Oh boy. So little bit worse for wear, a bit closer than I would care to admit and see, but fortunately, we do get through in one piece. Before I forget, let's swap back to the Lagitang so that we have some poison resistance going through this very, very poison-dependent area of the game. And okie dokie, one more floor, or we can kind of swap back into our more comfortable routine, as it were. But reach out and grab ya. Hello, my friends. Just rinse and repeat. In fact, if I can keep this Spell Viper at a bit of a distance, or not, that's cool too. In that case, let's take this kiddo upstairs, shall we? And we'll just slowly whittle our way through the encounter. Even the Spell Viper shouldn't be an issue if we're in a safe environment like this, where we're not too worried about the rage. That is all fine and dandy, fantastic. And back into the thick of it, shall we? Not too shabby. I do love me some Bile Clutch. Very happy that we have brought that fully online here and added it to our arsenal. But speaking of our arsenal, what else do we want to potentially explore? I could learn Irradiate now, still higher failure rate than I would like to see. But we're going to be working on that as we continue through the floor here. And so, I think I will learn Irradiate, and I'll learn Apportation as well. That's something that's just always handy to have in your back pocket. Never know when you might need to just snatch a rune, a magical item, and get the heck out of dodge. What? Hello. Okay, it does nothing, but looks very cool. Don't mind that. I mean, if my views on fashion in the dungeon are any indicator, then you already know that I'm a strong believer that while form is great, or while function is great, I should say, sometimes you need a little bit of form to really spice it up, you know? And so I appreciate a good amount of flavor design in almost any context. Okie dokie. Let's get back on the road here. Hello, my friends. Come one, come all, and say hello to our grasping palms here. Fantastic. And we'll probably just rinse repeat. Again, we're playing it much safer on this floor, especially in regards to our Berserk. You can very, very quickly get overwhelmed. All it takes is one Guardian Serpent kind of rounding the corner unexpectedly, and you better hope that you're not actively slowed and in a bad state of body and mind. So with that at the back of our brains here, we'll just slowly but surely get through trying to cast a bit more often than we otherwise would. And in fact, with that Guardian Serpent showing up, better safe than sorry. We'll go upstairs, recover ourselves, and then jump back into the mix. So we're feeling a bit better here. In fact, as we do get surrounded, we can IMB to just clear the room, and then... Perfect. Guardian Serpent is dead. I mean, I'm gonna stick around for at least a brief moment here to try to take a few more of those Sons of Guns out with us before we heal up. But that went essentially as perfectly as we could have hoped for and imagined. And anyway, we just started blasting. Gotta love me some Mystic Blast. Nothing quite like it. I mean, sure, I go back and forth on whether to give MVP in the Conjuration spellbook to IMB or Fulminant Prism. I think Fulminant Prism, when it pops off, is just such a like niche type of satisfaction of getting all your bombs lined up perfectly, and it just deals so much damage that it's hard to rate anything higher. But I think IMB takes the cake, if just because it adds a decent chunk of utility, of defensive ability to the mix, which is something you're almost always in dire need of as you make your way through the dungeon. Oops, let's stop heading towards the unknown and instead just hang out here, shall we? There's the less than opportunely timed rage. Well, that's why we wait till we're a little bit closer to the stairs before we start really throwing the kitchen sink at the wall here. But not too shabby, all things considered. And we'll just rinse, repeat, all that good stuff. Ooh, we do get a spellbook here as well. Do Kiss of Death and Mercury Vapors. Neither of which is much of a game changer for us at the moment here. You can take a look, because Kiss of Death, I can't, off the top of my head, think what it does. Okay. It's a level 1 spell, so that's probably where the majority of my dismissal was coming from here. So it drains us both, right? I do remember that from our Necromancer runs that we ran through recently here, but not something we have much interest in whatsoever for the moment. And engaging in a bit of an arms race of constriction here. Ooh, with the Guardian Serpent joining the club, I now have concerns. But, oh, turns out I should have had even more concerns. Yikes. That's going to be a blink from me for sure. The Anaconda's hasted. We have all these Sons of Guns running at us for our money. I could Tin of Tremor Stones, and as long as it hits these Sons of Guns. I was going to say it should deal decent damage, but right. Guardian Serpent, still very much something we should be taking into consideration. What do we wish to do here? Could take a step. I'm slightly worried about this hasted son of a gun, but I think we have to get a little bit of distance, and at least these other two will start to fall behind as we get a bit further along, so that is fantastic. In fact, maybe this is a good time. Oh, I can't get hit by my own warp beams. Good to note. Then we'll smash that into you kiddos instead. Blink is back online, so we can definitely resort to that. Oof. These Sons of Guns are chasing me down. I need to channel magic. Not level 7. We have 7 MP. So that means we're just slightly short of our really solid defensive options. in one turn, I will regenerate enough magic to be able to use something like Death's Door. Oh, but we also have Blink back up. So maybe I'll start there. It does put us out to a slightly safe area of interest here. And then is there something to be said for, like, we could read a poison scroll, and that would at least give some pause to the Salamander Mystic here. Of course, if they start throwing any of these spells at us, it's going to be a little bit of a nasty spot. The main thing is I don't really want to use teleport scrolls here, because if it drops us into the final vault of Snake 4, chances are that is the be-all end-all for us here today. So let us keep just slowly but surely massaging our way forward here, shall we? Back up to having a bit of a better handle on our MP. And so that potentially lends itself. Oh, there's the attack we didn't want. Holy moly. Well, that could have gone much, much worse. Oh, geez Louise. Welp. We are on our way to the tail end of this endeavor. 26 damage on you, my friend. Should not be the end of the world. Oh boy. We can just get to the stairs as soon as possible. That would be grand. Yikes, yikes, yikes. But hey, we got through crazy near-death experience without having to resort to Death's Door. How about that? And give me one moment here to just double check. Got some messages and want to make sure there's no emergencies going on. Though there's a pretty wide range of what that could entail these days. For whatever reason, our house right now has been afflicted by a rash of spider sightings, and specifically much bigger spiders than we usually expect. Most house spiders in Canada, you know, you have your daddy long legs, but they're pretty harmless and more cute than they are scary. But we've been getting some pretty wild spiders showing up, and my partner is all too unhappy about that. And so I'm usually on call to be on spider duty. Partially due to my own thoughts and feelings, because I'm one of those annoying people who basically refuses to kill any spider. Even though I'm perfectly aware of the fact that throwing spiders outside when we're in less than perfect summer conditions is probably a death sentence, I still much prefer that over the more intimate murdering of them up close. Watching the life drain from their eyes is not something I have any real vested interest in. And so it is my duty to take care of any of those sons of guns if and when they show up. Does Snake always have those angry fruit salad walls in the tile? Angry fruit salad walls. I mean, I probably don't spend enough time really appreciating the walls in Snake in general. These little snack boys. Is it this? Is this an angry fruit salad? Or is there something else I'm missing here? Not sure if I'm on the up and up for the angry fruit salad. If it is that, which it very well could be, it's a bit of a serving dish of sorts. Could be angry. Who am I to judge? Okie dokie. Otherwise, we are, if nothing else, slowly but surely wearing away.